Hey guys, welcome to Hitting the Mark with Harry and Mark. I'm your co-host Mark. This is my co-host Harry.
Hello?
Yeah, yeah. You know why I'm not enthusiastically doing a an intro, Harry?
Why?
I want to feel the conviction in your voice.
Look, hey, it's recording right now. I can see
Are
it.
you sure? Are you
Oh, I'm
absolutely?
sure.
So what happened last week is we were doing the podcast normally. Normal time too. We were back to normal,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And then about 35 to 40 minutes in, he's like, "Oh shit, we're not recording." I had a fucking perfect intro. We were talking about our days. We had some cohesion going. And then just, the bubble was burst. Reality was brought back down on my head like an anvil. But you know what? I'm not mad. I'm not upset. I'm here to talk about stuff that we have no idea what we're talking about. Is that right, Harry?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
It's okay. In fact, you know what? Because I love you so much,
Mm.
I'm gonna redo the intro.
Oh,
Yeah, get ready for it. You like
okay.
you like a little lightning, huh?
Yep.
You like a little thunder? Little
Mm.
lightning? Little thunder? Huh? Huh? Hi, folks. Welcome to Hitting the Mark with Harry and Mark. I'm your co-host Mark. This is my wonderful co-host Harry.
Hello.
There we go. We're two idiots who love talking about things we have no idea what we're talking about. On the show today, we're going to do our usual thing and talk about our weeks. We're going to go through the Venom Let There Be Carnage review. We're going
Mm.
to discuss a couple games that we've been playing, and then we'll see what we're going to do from there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right, all right. Harry,
Yes.
how was your week?
My week was good. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it's okay.
No. I think it's just the same old, same old. Just work was a little rough because someone's out for a week and a half, so I had to deal
You
with that.
mentioned.
I worked today by myself, which was nice.
Oh
Got
boy.
literally. I felt like I got nothing done, but I did a lot of stuff. Um,
If it makes you feel any better, I
Maybe.
work at a law firm,
Yes.
and they have me as a file clerk, kind of like a legal assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there to file, scan, and organize things. And I'm getting to that point where I feel like they're gonna just put me down like old Yeller the moment I scan the last piece of paper. So I'm pacing myself to put it mildly.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So yeah, I get you.
Mm.
Not doing much, not getting much done. I can empathize with that.
um, but other than that, was that this week?
Me
When?
telling you that I'm not getting anything done at work. Yeah, that was
Oh
this week.
no, this past Sunday. Was it Sunday or Wednesday? I finally got the platinum for Resident Evil remake.
Nice.
It was good. It was fun. That last playthrough was a lot more smoother
Hmm.
than the story that I told you last week that didn't get recorded. So yeah,
Yeah, we're not going to acknowledge that one.
no, but yeah, no, it was a good. It was a hot, hard fought
Hot fought
trophy.
one.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah,
it
real
was a
hot
tough.
fought.
It was a tough platinum to get, but every playthrough was fun and unique. So I enjoyed it.
Good.
And the thing is, that the playthroughs aren't that long. Like once you get the hang of it, they're about like 3 hours long, or give or take. If
Yeah.
you die, like if you like don't die, you can get it done closer to 2. But if you get stuck like I did, it's gonna be closer to 3. So the playthroughs aren't that bad. But
Right. Okay.
it was a good game. I'm excited for. I don't know what game I'm gonna be playing next, but I'm currently grinding on Final Fantasy VII. I'm on, so you know how I do my annual playthrough of Final Fantasy VII.
Of course. I
So,
don't think the chat knows.
oh
I think I think
well,
you and I know.
listeners, I replay Final Fantasy VII once a year, uh, every September 7th. Um, just my thing that I've been doing.
In commemoration with 9/11.
Yeah, yeah, that. um, and I started mine this year, and I've already gotten to the point where I could just go and beat Sephiroth. But what I like to do is kind of like grind and level up my characters and kind of get really OP where I just mop the floor, um, and do like all the side quests, things that don't need to get done to beat the game. And yeah, so I'm doing that. So the reason why this year's a little special is because I found out that the PlayStation 4 version of Final Fantasy VII has trophies and a platinum. And so I'm grinding for those, and I'm a little excited. The trophies were a little easy for me personally. Like, they're not that hard to get to, except for one. I don't think I've vented to you yet. There's a
Spill it.
there's a mechanic in the game, and many reasons why I love the game, but this one's great. There's a mechanic in the game where it's called the date. So you go on a date with someone. Generally, you go with Eris, the main person, the main romance of Cloud in the story. You go on a date through like a amusement park and stuff like that and everything. But there's a mechanic, and if you don't know about it, you just always end up going on a date with Ares, not knowing that there's a mechanic behind it. You can actually go on a date with 4 different characters.
Ooh, the
Yeah.
intrigue. Do tell.
Mm-hmm. So the reason why you always end up with Eris is because Eris's like meter of like you're gonna go on a date with them is a lot higher than everyone else.
So you got
It's
to
like,
work up that charisma.
yeah, exactly. So basically, it's off of a point system. Ares starts off with 50 points. I think Tifa starts with 30, and then the third person, Yuffie, starts with like 10 or something like that, and then the last person, Barrett, starts with 0. So the trophy is you have to go on a date with Barrett, and so you
Who's
really
the toughest one?
yeah. So and the thing is, it's a bronze, and the reason why this trophy annoys me is because it's a bronze, not a gold, a bronze. And this mechanic, this dating mechanic, if you don't know about it, you don't know about it. Like, if you don't look at a strategy guide or anything, you don't know that this is the thing. You don't know how to do it. Like, you have to do everything in a specific way for you to get on a date with Barrett. And I knew this, but in the original game, there's a little cheat where you can infinitely raise Barrett's charisma. And
Okay.
so when I was playing through it, I was like, "Oh, I don't, I don't need to, you know, I don't need to, really go point for point to Barrett. I'm just gonna play it normally and then infinitely raise charisma once I get to that point." So I'm playing through it. I'm getting trophies. I'm like, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then
Sweet.
I finally get to that point of the game, you know, and I try to do the glitch and it's not working. Like, what the fuck? And I'm like, oh, maybe there's something wrong. Maybe I misclicked or something. So I, went back on the save, and I retried again, and nothing. It wasn't working. I was like, oh my god, like, what the fuck's happening? So I went on the internet, and apparently, out of all the glitches in the entire game, and there are a lot, and they kept all of them
No.
except for that one. They specifically fixed that glitch.
No.
Yeah, I
Oh, my poor baby.
was pretty upset. It's
I would
just
fucking imagine.
yeah.
Jesus.
I didn't I didn't get it. Like, why of all glitches to fix that? Like, there are like other glitches that make you basically unstoppable. For some reason, they're like, no, that's fine. Infinite items is okay. Don't worry about that.
No, it's out of the question.
Yeah, no. I was like,
God, you poor
oh.
thing.
And so now I'm not complaining, but I'm gonna have to go through a second playthrough
Uh-huh.
and just to get that trophy. Like, I know what I need to do to get Barrett on my team or to go on a date with
Uh-huh.
Barrett, but it's just annoying that it I had this expectation where I need one playthrough to get all the trophies, and I was so close, so close.
God, that's
Um,
disappointing.
yeah, and that's it. That's the that's the game I'm grinding. I have to level up one character up to 99. That's one of the other trophies, and then there's one where I have to get like max max amount of money, which that one takes a while. Yeah, that one takes quite a bit of time because you just got to keep fighting monsters and get money and stuff like that and sell
Yeah.
items. Um, and the very last one is just beating the game, which I can easily do right now if I just wanted to.
Uh-huh.
I'm just savoring it because
But
once I
part
beat
of you doesn't want to because yeah.
because once I beat it, I'm moving on, and so I'm like just gonna savor it. I'm gonna grind some more, and then yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
It's
I
gonna be
don't want
fun.
to wait another year to play, so why not prolong it to the
Mm-hmm.
next September 11th so that I can keep playing it?
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, fair enough.
Uh-huh.
That works.
Exactly.
Um, but that's been my week. Trophies. What I've been working on.
Nice.
I did come out with I think I'm sure you saw it. A video of us playing Destiny 2. So
I
that's
did.
something else I did.
I did. I really love that college Wi-Fi guy. He's a good guy, that guy.
I was a good guy, huh? I was a good guy.
Speaking of plug-in time, here's a
Yep.
word from our sponsors. We don't have sponsors. Go check out Guy Named Harry's YouTube channel. He's got Hitting the Mark with Harry and Mark links, and he has his own videos where myself and him and a couple other friends, Hi Ed, stream and we have fun and we do stupid shit together.
Yeah,
And a
it's true.
plug-in.
And a plug.
Anyway, nice. So it's appreciated your how do I put it, the desire to go back and like play a game on a yearly basis. I have a very select few games where I think I'll do that with, or at
Mm-hmm.
all, to be honest. I
Yeah.
think two or three of the games where I would do that would be like fucking Shadow of the Colossus,
Mm-hmm.
Spyro, Dishonored One, or Prey because they had the same kind of value for me, or
Right.
Jack and Daxter, or no, Jack Two. But yeah,
Fair enough.
I
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna copy you now. I think
Oh,
you know, sweater, nice, well-shaven beard, some handsome glasses. I think that's my new aesthetic too.
all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume your life and your habits and your persona.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah,
What is
fuck
it? What
yeah.
is it? Damn. What's the saying? Fuck, I already forgot it. Never mind. Forget it. Nope, it's gone.
You poor thing.
Imitation
We
is
had it.
flattering. I know.
There
Fuck.
we go.
Whatever. That.
There we go. You're adorable. You
Mm,
really are. God, you fucking adorable thing. You. Anyway, fucking my week.
yes.
I'm coming down from a really good high. You know why?
Why?
because they didn't do drugs. Those are for losers. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
Those are fine. Just be careful with it. I actually started painting. Like I actually put airbrush paint onto a mini.
good
I'm
stuff. Good
happy with it.
stuff.
So the first time applying a varnish and a first time doing water slide decals, and man,
Mm.
oh man, YouTube hobby painters make that shit look easy. My
Yeah.
fucking water decaled object looks like a fucking toddler scribbled crayon over it. So who are everyone who doesn't know, water slide decal is essentially uh, a piece of paper with a film over it in a design of whatever you'd like. You put it in some water and you transfer that little thing onto the surface of whatever you want uh, decaled. So
Mm.
fucking I'm here trying to like move these tiny fucking decals, right? And they're really ridiculously difficult to move in place because once you set it on a desired area, it moves like next to nowhere. So I'm here like jamming a fucking Q-tip in one direction, trying to get it to move, and I'm breaking this shit. And I'm trying so very hard not to like be a perfectionist and realize like, hey, you know what? You know what's preventing me from getting everything done? The fact that it's like it needs to be perfect on the first try.
Mm.
And my wonderful girlfriend was sitting there while I was cursing to myself. She's like, "Hey, just just be okay with it."
Mm.
And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try finishing this. It's not how I want it to look, but it's a hell of a lot better than than I think I should have expected it to be. So
Mm.
I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep practicing and improving my craft. Yeah,
Good.
I'm going to craft that shit. So I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Secondly, I've been trying to prepare my girlfriend for movies that I'm going to take us, you know, you, me, Livy, Stace to go see. So I have to show her this is tough. This is tough because it, I'm a movie person and she isn't. And I've
Mm.
neglected in my duties to show her because I'm just that wonderful of a person, you know,
Right.
making my
Yeah.
girlfriend sit down and watch like 40, 50 hours worth of film. I haven't shown her all of the James Bonds, like all of them,
Ooh.
even the shitty George Lazenby ones, okay? Okay?
Okay.
But because No Time to Die is coming up soon, I'm going to
Oh,
show
yes,
her
it
the
is.
Daniel Craig Bonds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm interested in getting her opinion on that because Bond, that's why. Mr.
Because
Bond.
we
But
could, because
oh,
I was saying, because James Bond, I don't know if you would want to do like a $5 Tuesday for the
I'm
Bond.
down.
You
Yeah,
know.
I'm absolutely down. Especially since the fucking tickets that we have for an adult are like $16. I will say
Mm-hmm.
I've committed a grave trespass. Okay,
Oh,
a transgression. I don't buy normal tickets. I buy senior citizen.
got
Wrecked 'em. Anyway,
him.
so I have to show her those. But while I was trying to talk her into it, she
Mm-hmm.
passed out on me. Like, of course.
Oh yeah.
And I was searching through just free shit to watch, and I came across a movie that I've always liked,
Hmm.
uh, and it's The Fly. I know that
Uh
there's
huh.
always the fans who are like, "Well, have you seen the Vincent Price version from the '50s where it's a guy in a suit with a fly head?" Yeah, no, I've seen portions of it. I'll fucking get to it eventually. But The Fly, I think, for a science fiction body horror film that's like not even 90 minutes long is a fucking masterpiece.
Yes.
Like in terms of what it wants to do. Like tells a fairly competent story, solid camera work, solid practical effects, uh, really good acting too. Jeff Goldblum, the line between actor and person is constantly blurry with him, but when he's in the makeup, he actually I really feel like his performance is multiplied, the
Mm-hmm.
quality
Mm-hmm.
of his performance. I feel like they should just put him in a fly suit for every movie.
Yeah.
So like, with the next Thor movie, if the Grand Master is in it, just put him in the same
Oh, so
outfit.
good. Yeah.
Same one.
I can get behind that.
But I wanted to get to something slightly different, and is that I don't typically I used to be the kind of guy who just ingested everything. Not everything, but ingested as much as I could.
Right.
Um and it's only now that I've really, really, really started to develop a taste,
Mm.
I think, for filmmakers that I enjoy. I really enjoy Ryan Johnson. I really enjoy like oh god, a couple others too. Right off the top of my head, I think Ryan Johnson is the one that is most recent, most like clearly in my head at the moment. Uh, but it makes this movie makes me want to watch more David Cronenberg.
Mm.
I've watched a bunch of his stuff before. Let's see, off the top of my head, Videodrome, Existenz, History of Violence. Like he is exceedingly good at body horror, and there is a who can fucking forget Scanners? There are about four
Scanners.
Scanners, classic Canadian
Yeah.
uh, film. Anyway, there is a very pointed, violent streak to this man that I don't know. I appreciate. He has a very withheld, violent eye, uh, especially when it comes to watching something like uh, The Fly, which could have been so much more grotesque, and I feel like he really sticks with the meat and veg of body horror. So I really do think I'm going to give him a look over for some of his older stuff.
Okay.
There are a bunch of people who recommended like stuff from like the 70s of his that everyone seems to love. So yeah, cheers to that.
Cheers to
Um,
that.
cheers to that. What else? What else? I got an appendectomy.
I don't know what that is.
No, I'm fucking kidding. I'm only kidding. I was just looking for the shock value. I'm sorry, folks. Can't
I,
put
s-
that on the YouTube
I was like, I, s-
thumbnail.
I still don't know what that is.
It's when you dectomy your appendix.
Oh, I had that,
What?
right? Or am I thinking? Am I no?
You have
I don't.
your appendix removed? Do you have it in a jar?
No, no, I don't. I think. What they do now is they burn it off, so there's no remnants of it.
Ugh, that's so boring.
But I do have 3 scars, little tiny scars. But I got 3 scars from where they had like the camera and the two. I think 2 prongs to burn it off. I think one to hold it and the other one to burn it, and then camera.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
dude, that shit sucked. Dude, having
Yeah.
appendicitis was fucking brutal. Like I was just like, yo, hey, if this is it, I'm good. Just end it.
Yeah,
Like,
just put me out. Yeah, I'm out of my
dude,
misery.
I was there, man. So apparently, so the way I think I got it, at first, my mom used to make those little boxes, the hamburger helper or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So my mom used to always make tuna helper, and that shit was I would eat the shit out of that. Um, very basic. It's just pasta and tuna and some sauce. It was fucking delicious, and I used to always eat that. But for some reason, after I would eat the tuna helper, I would get super sick. So what would happen is like I'd get this pain like in the mouth of my stomach, and like I would vomit, just pure vomit, and I would like curl up in fetal position, just be in pain, and it was awful.
Oh
Um,
God.
and that lasted like hours. I actually went to the ER twice, but by the time the doctor saw me, like the pain was gone.
Ah,
Um, and one time, I think the second time, um, I just like I felt fine before they even called me in, and I was like, "Yeah, I feel fine." They're like, "Okay, well, let's just go home then." All right, cool. I didn't even see a doctor. I just went home. Um,
s-
so my mom was like, "Okay, no more tuna helper. Like, you get sick of that shit." I'm like, "Yeah, for sure."
yeah, you don't get any more of
And then,
that. Man.
so I haven't had tuna helper since. I think no, that's a lie. I had it afterwards once. Um, but we stopped having that, and and then it happened again, and this time was like really bad. Like I was
So
vomiting up.
is it the helper or is it the tuna?
Oh, I'll get to
That's
that. I'll show you. Um,
uh
so then it happened again, and it was so bad. I was like vomiting my stomach acid. Like I had nothing else to vomit, right? So I was vomiting up water and stomach acid, and so I was like, okay, we're going to the ER. So we went to the ER, and luckily it was like across the street from our house at the time, and it was a smaller hospital, so it was easier to get to, or there wasn't a line for the ER. So I went there, boom, and I was like vomiting in front of them. They're like, "Okay, yeah, we're gonna help you," um, and so, um, got in, and then like they made me drink this like liquid. It was like thick white stuff, like glue, and it had like no taste. Basically, it was so they can like X-ray my insides. And so I just gulped it down. Um, and then after I just like napped, and then like I woke up, and then I felt fine. But I was like, yeah, I mean, since I'm here, I'm gonna totally figure out what the fuck's wrong with me. Um, and the doctor came in and was like, oh, you have appendicitis. I'm like, what is that?
nice.
I was like, I don't know what that is. Like, oh yeah, your appendix. And like he was explaining to me like the process. He's like, well, like your appendix is flared up. So it didn't burst, which is a good thing. I was like, oh, why is that? And he's like, oh, well, if it would have burst, we would have had to cut you from like your neck all the way down to like your ankle to like suck up all the fluid.
Oh, that is so brutal. You
I
should
was
have
like,
just let him do it.
oh shit. And so he's like, yeah, like we need to take it out because it's inflared, and it's it can happen where it will burst. I was like, okay, sure, that's fine. And so yeah, that they were
That
they
sounds
went
awful.
in. Yeah, dude, that was brutal. So what I figured out, and I was because what happened that day, like the day before it happened, or right before my stomach started hurting, was I ate, like I got home from school. No,
More
sorry.
hamburger helper,
Oh no, no.
tuna helper.
I got home from work. I was already outside of high school. Got out of work, and then I ate, and I went straight to bed because I was fucking tired of shit. And I think that's what did it for me. Like eating and
That's when the
sleeping right
chest burster
afterwards.
came out.
Yeah, exactly. And
Oh,
yeah, so I try not to do that anymore. But since I don't have an appendix anymore, what the fuck's the point, right? But yeah, appendicitis, it fucking sucks.
it's
And
pretty
if
useless anyway.
yeah, and like if you don't like, I mean, I got lucky, right? Because it didn't burst, but like I feel sorry for the people who like where it actually bursts and you gotta like get a vacuum to suck up all the fluid out of your body. God, it's brutal.
I imagine they just fillet you and just take a vacuum to your whole body and then like stitch the skin back onto you.
Yeah, I
You know,
I can see it.
I'm sure they do it a little different in real life, but I don't think it's too different.
Yeah. But fuck, man, yeah, appendicitis, that shit sucks. And yeah, I do not have an appendix. Shit's burnt out of my body.
I really wish you were able to keep that in a jar. That's disappointing.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It would have been fun.
You poor boy.
All right,
Come over here. I'll kiss your boo boo for you.
thanks.
Mwah. Oh yeah, my week, minus that weird tangent where I didn't get an appendectomy, was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. So that was my week, and then yeah. So what's the next thing? Unless you wanted to add anything that you wanted to talk about.
No. Let's go. You want to do movies or you want to do games first?
Mm,
What you feeling like?
I think maybe movies.
Okay. Let's go on the roll. We were talking about movies, so let's go on the
So are
roll.
we gonna talk about what we watched together, or like a review that I have?
Let's do us first, and then we'll hop onto yours. Does that sound?
So Us is a movie by Jordan Peterson. He knows it's funny. He knows. He knows. Anyway, our review for Venom. Okay. So, do we want to give the synopsis real quick?
um, sure. I mean, it was a quick movie anyway, so let's do a
Yeah.
quick synopsis. Yeah.
So it's been 3 years since the events of the first film. Eddie Brock is trying to rebuild his image as a investigative journalist, and by doing that, he comes across Cletus Cassidy. Cletus Cassidy, being a little arrogant in the first 20 minutes of the movie, uh, claims that he will opt for the death penalty or something along those lines.
Or they sign
If,
it specifically just for him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, basically. Should Eddie Brock solve his missing victims cases?
Hmm.
With Venom's help, they find the victims, and uh, Woody Harrelson's Cletus Cassidy is not too happy about that. Um, Due to an altercation between I'm just going to go with the characters' names.
Yep.
Um, Due to an altercation with Eddie Brock and Cletus Cassidy, some of Venom's tissue ends up in Cletus Cassidy's mouth. Um, Cassidy consumes the piece of venom, and that gestates into Carnage, which manifests very violently the moment they are about to execute Cletus Cassidy. Um, he escapes and goes on a rampage to find his old love interest, who is Freak. I don't know much about myself other than just who they are in the movie, who is, I would imagine, somewhere in Muir related areas of San Francisco. While this is going on, uh, Eddie Brock and Venom are developing a very strained relationship. Eddie Brock is trying to kind of look for a little more peace and stability in his life, while Venom is trying to one feed and kind of run free. And it's at that point that they break up. Like literally, like Venom leaves his body and he spends a good 30 to 35 minutes trying to like possess other bodies to find a better match. Um, Cletus frees his girlfriend, uh, Shriek, and they go on kind of like a little honeymoon thing where they look for uh, witnesses to get to their mock wedding. Uh, Eddie manages to, with the assistance of his ex girlfriend and her fiance, find the location of these characters. And with the help of Venom, who is now joined back after they realize that they are a good match, do battle with Shriek and Carnage Cletus Cassidy, resulting in the death of Shriek and the death of Cletus Cassidy in the same movie.
And
Uh,
the pastor and the pastor.
Oh, yeah, yeah. except the guy in the ropes. Can't
Yeah,
eat him. Uh, yeah, power up. What was it? Cletus or fucking Carnage said
Carnage.
power up. Yeah.
What a loser.
So, um, oh, and by the way, you know, not very important. There's a little, end credit scene where Venom gets transported with Eddie Brock to the MCU. Anyway, so
Yeah, just a little side note.
not very important. Um, so okay, Harry, I wanna hear your opinion because I got to talk to you a little bit, but
Yeah.
I didn't really peel back the layers, the delicious oniony layers of your opinion
Delicious,
of this.
delicious ogre layers. Got it. Um, so how do I feel about this movie? So first off, I thought it was fun. The way I felt about it is very similar to how I felt about Godzilla versus Kong. Where it's just I'm just watching a movie. I
Yeah.
want to see Venom. I want to see Carnage. I want them to fight. That's all I'm looking for, and I got it.
Mm-hmm. Let them fight. Okay,
Yeah,
good, 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 good.
that's right off the bat, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
more in depth. I definitely liked it than the first one. I think the first one, like don't get me wrong, the first one was cool, but they could have done a lot better. With the introduction of Venom. Um,
Mm,
but the second one, I think I told you where it seemed a little pushed. Like
the first one.
where like no, the second one. The second one seemed
Mm,
like um scenes were like you were over here and then over here and then over here and then all of a sudden you're just like, yep, here's this thing and then here's the battle
yeah,
and like which is fine. Hey, I'm here to watch Carnage fight Venom, right?
yeah. So at the end of the
But
day, like, as long as they get there, then
yeah,
you're satisfied.
yeah, and basically it seemed like um they what's the word? I guess they didn't do it, but kind of tied off, not tied off. Was it cut off rope? No, what is the phrase? Loose
The
ends?
core?
Cut off loose
Yeah,
ends?
yeah.
Whatever.
No, no, no. Yeah. They severed their loose ends, tied up
Yeah,
loose ends. There we go.
yeah. Tied up loose ends. The only one that they didn't is the what's his name? The police officer who
Mulligan.
was chained up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know
So
what happened with him.
a character that is not very pertinent to the story
Mm,
is Mulligan. Mulligan. So the beginning of the movie is a flashback to when Cletus and Shriek were in an orphanage, and they're doing the cutesy, sending love letters back and forth to one another. And Shriek is taken away to some other area. In that moment, the cop who is in the back seat of the transport vehicle gets deafened by Shriek's ability. Shriek can she has like this acoustic ability where she's canary basically. She has this vocal like fuck you up voice ability. Um, in the altercation, Mulligan the cop is deafened in his left ear and he accidentally fires a gun, nearly killing Shriek but damaging her eye. Um, that cop becomes the main guy investigating the Cletus Cassidy murders, kind of sniffing around Eddie Brock's personal life because of the connection. But at the end of the movie, he is not killed, which is surprising given how they shot a specific part. Um,
yeah.
and his eyes are a little different. He says monsters, and then that's all we see of him. Uh, implying that we're going to get more, even though the main character of that universe is no longer in that universe.
Yeah.
Which
That's what I
is
meant. Like,
odd if you ask me.
yeah. So that's like the one thing that I was kind of like I don't get that part. But for the rest of it,
Mhm.
like you know, Eddie Brock and Venom kind of like agreed. Like, okay, like you know, my ex-wife's next, fiance is actually pretty cool, and we're not going to be bothering them anymore, and
Hmm.
we got to leave the city because they're chasing us or whatever. So
Hmm.
loose ends cut, they're gone, right? So it's like
Right.
now they can go join the MCU. But
Yay. We
before
get
that,
PG.
yeah, before uh that ending scene though, I think I was just telling you, like yeah, like it doesn't seem like they're gonna really bring him in. I think they just kind of like pushed him through and like, all right, cool, Venom. Like we'll see what we do with him next, but we're we're not gonna be worried about him right now.
Hmm.
It seemed kind of like okay, they kind of just made the second movie, but funny because Livy was explaining how like I think they're like it seemed like Marvel was talking to Sony and being like, "Yo, we want Venom in the MCU. How soon can we get him?" They're like, "Well, we want at least 2 movies." Like, okay,
Can't do
they're
it.
and they're just like, or maybe they said like 3 or 4, and they're just like, "Nah, 2. We need him
Yeah.
to be doing this and that
Uh,
because we want them with Doctor Strange and all." You know what I mean? And they're kind of like,
you
"Fuck,
wanted
okay,
to introduce time travel or fucking dimension hopping stuff in a movie that shouldn't have dimension hopping? Yeah,
yeah,
do that. Oh,
exactly."
okay. Do
Because
you want some flapjacks with that too, or
but yeah, no, that's how it felt, right?
yeah?
Like they probably were like, you want 2 movies, get 2 movies, but we need Venom a part of this movie because
Hmm.
it's gonna be big, right? They have plans and all this stuff, whatever. Um, and I guess it did its job, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know,
At
it
the end of the day, I think people will be more interested in the fact that he's going to be in the MCU because of this
yes,
movie than the quality of this movie in and of itself. Like this just
yeah,
feels more like a stepping stone film, which I think is disappointing.
I agree, but the thing is, like you can't really have Venom without Spider Man. You know,
Fucking watch me. No, I'm kidding.
like it's just like
Yeah, I get.
you can have Spider Man without Venom. It's easy because he's Spider Man.
Yeah,
He has
I
plenty of
just
other villains.
I I would have agreed with you so much right after Venom, but Let There Be Carnage. Sony really wanted to do like their dark anti-hero, like semi-horror superhero thing with him and Morbius.
Yeah.
And I was I hated the idea personally. I don't think the idea works for me
Mm-hmm.
personally. But I was while watching the movie, I was like, you know what? I can live with it. I can live with it. I'm fine with that. And I
Yeah.
almost feel like the chance to make more stuff for this character to really kind of, dig into it a little more has kind of been robbed.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where it goes. I'm interested to see what happens. I'm interested to see what they do and how they make this kind of coalesce. So anyway, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, you're yeah. Like I said in the beginning, I enjoyed watching this movie. It reminded
Hmm.
me of Kong and versus Godzilla. It's just a fun movie to watch. Um,
Oh yeah.
better than the first one for sure. Um, it gave people what they wanted. I think Woody Harrelson did a fantastic job. Not only being Carnage, but just being a fucking serial killer. Um,
Yeah.
he did a fantastic job.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and yeah, I've recommended to basically everyone that's asked me like, "Oh, how was Venom?" Like, it's dope. It's fun. You should watch it.
Hmm.
you know, trying not just to spoil the ending, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you much because I don't want to spoil anything.
It's not that big. It's not that important.
Yeah,
It's all
well, I
right.
mean, it, if you know about, I mean, if you know about the MCU stuff, like you don't like that was a big thing like for me to find out that literally that ending credit scene was yo Venom's part of the MCU now. Like,
Yeah.
that
Oh
to me
yeah.
that was huge. I was like, because we were just talking like right before that credit scene started. I was just telling you, like, I'm okay if Venom's not a part of it. Like, there's plenty of other people. Like,
Yeah.
I
Like,
don't
you know
see
what?
them
I've
doing it.
accepted it.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
I'm I'm
accepted it.
okay.
And then literally right there, and the way they did it was really cool. Like, it kind of threw you for a loop because Venom's talking to Eddie, right? He's like, oh, if only you knew all this stuff that us symbiotes knew. And he's like, oh, really? Oh, that's whatever. He's like, oh, I can show you like a fraction of what we know. Like, okay, that's fine.
Fucking no. This
And
this
then
shit. This fucker just became more powerful than any fucking like character. Are you fucking kidding me? This fucker can just like vibrate his way into another fucking dimension. What the fuck was this in the previous goddamn movie?
but it's great though because it's like he's like, this isn't me. you know? Venom's like,
Yeah.
that's not even me. Like, he's like, Venom, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, it's not me. Like, I don't know what's happening. So it's like, it like throws you for a loop because you think, oh shit, he's like showing him some shit, right? Like, he's about to fucking, like,
Yeah.
fucking Doctor Strange style, like, thrown through a loop, right? And it's just
hmm
like, he's just like, this isn't me. Oh,
I'm
man.
I'm wondering if he's gonna be one of the villains in No Way Home. That'd be an interesting
Oh,
little cameo.
it has to be, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Because you know what? Honestly, you know what movie that I'd actually really like to see?
which one?
I would love to see a Craven Manhunter where instead
Oh.
of hunting Spider-Man, he hunts Venom.
Oh.
Like,
Okay.
like I'm fine. Because I really like. Well, I don't really like Craven. From what I liked of him in the cartoons, and I
Oh.
found out there was a really great like comic where he has cancer and they really delve into like who he is as a person. But I really like the idea of a movie where he just fucking if you want to give him a movie in the MCU, I think that'd be really good. You just get like an actor to play Craven and
Yeah.
just fucking have them go at it because that would be interesting. That'd be really fucking cool.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Because, Venom like kills, so you'd essentially have like a Predator movie, whereas like you would have a movie
Mm.
where Spider-Man has to be really subdued about what he does to people. I mean, he fucking
Yeah.
kills, I guess, but I think the dynamic would be a little different
Yeah. But
because I think Craven would actually be on the back foot.
yeah. Like I said before, I think I was telling you at the movies, that in the PS2 game, um, the Spider-Man, where you can play as Venom.
Yeah, the
Um,
Amazing Spider-Man or
yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yes, that one.
I
That
love
one,
that. It's such an underrated game too.
it really so in that one is where Spider-Man gets basically control, or that's where Carnage comes in, and
Mm-hmm.
through Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the host of Carnage, and Venom has to fight Carnage that way. So that's what I was telling you. Like, oh, like yes, Carnage in this universe is gone, but who's to say that Carnage isn't going to be around for the next universe? And
Yeah, just get a better haircutted Cletus Cassidy this time.
mm-hmm. But that's the thing. I don't think you need Kitty's whatever that person,
Yeah.
because you have Spider-Man and he takes over, and then because I think I told you where like it would have been cool if it just seems like if they were gonna continue and make more Venom movies like by himself, they wouldn't have killed off Carnage like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Carnage
Yeah.
is like one of the big symbiotes, next to Venom. It's Venom and Carnage. They are the two that Spider-Man's always fucking fighting, and it's like you can't
Yeah.
just kill off, like Carnage. You just can't. It
Yeah.
does that doesn't make any sense.
I
Um,
mean, I feel like it's maybe it's not wasted potential, but I really would have liked if the ending of the movie was, instead of just Eddie Brock, it's like in between like the tussle, they both get transported to MCU New York. And
that
now
would have
Cletus can
been.
like, yeah. Yeah, right?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd be probably more thrilled about that one than what
Yeah. So it's
happened.
like then he has like a reason to go out and like, or now he's got a new lease to go kill people. And Eddie Brock assumes some kind of role back in New York at the different Daily Bugle investigating. Or no, I don't know, because the Daily Bugle in the MCU is kind of like an Infowars kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, maybe he'd like try to find Carnage in that universe and ends up
Yeah.
needing to enlist Spider-Man's help, or in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of finding Carnage, Spider-Man intervenes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, anyway,
Oh
but
no, no, no.
yeah.
Think about that, and honestly, I'm sure it was just like a joke or a play on Infowars, but I do like the fact that this you th- this MCU is very modern, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there are definitely some contemporary things that they uh, gently poke at.
Yeah, like it reminds me of the Kryptonian epic that Max Landis is doing on YouTube,
Yeah,
where
that
like
you mentioned, trying to
every
modernize.
everything's modern, right? Like social media is a thing in in his universe, where like
Oh yeah,
they're obviously kind of doing that in the MCU, and it'd be great if they continued that, like
yeah, oh yeah.
because the thing is, social media is such a fucking huge part of our society now. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? That like it's hard not. It's weird to see a movie not like going back 10 years, right? Going back 10 years from now, 2011, like movies didn't really bring up social media because social
Yeah,
media wasn't
yeah, they didn't know
social
what it
media.
was.
Social media was just fucking coming in, right? It was just starting. So social media wasn't a thing. If you think of like old, like the X-Men movies, the Spider-Man, the original trilogy of Spider-Man, all those superhero movies that came out 10 plus years ago, like even the one, the early 2010s, like social media wasn't a thing because like social media wasn't a thing yet. But now it's like it makes more sense for the especially like if you're basing off of the timeline of now, right? Social media has to be a thing. Like it just has to be. It- like it's weird to see
Definitely
movies.
play a factor.
Yeah, like it's weird to see a movie now if you're basing it off of this timeline, right? Like or the next Spider-Man comes out in December. So it's weird if you're basing the timeline of being December 2021 but like not having
I
like
think
social media stuff.
I definitely think it'll be more it will be in the movie, but it'll be more peripheral.
Mhm.
There's definitely uh, the portrayal of Spider-Man as like
Mm.
this pariah, as
Yeah.
uh, as Peter Parker's unable to really get a moment to himself, and that is,
Yeah.
I think, I know it's not exactly what you want, but the concept of him having no privacy, mainly because of how powerful social media is.
Yeah.
Everyone has a phone. Everyone has the ability to record. Everyone has the ability to communicate. At fucking a million times light speed. So
Well, I
the
think
that
The Spider-Man series, or just Spider-Man in general, is actually a big showing of how social media is affecting the MCU because Tony Stark finds Spider-Man through a bunch of YouTube videos. If you remember when they
yes,
first meet up,
hmm
and
because I feel like I do feel like there isn't quite a chance yet to make something like that the main focal point. I don't really think Disney will go
Right.
somewhere like there, but
Right. I think they're doing a good
but
job. Like
yeah,
I guess my take was more of like it's weird to see movies that are coming out now with a certain timeline that is now without
yeah,
a heavy form of social media. Like Shang-Chi did a good job. Remember the guy in the on the bus?
yeah. No, but yeah,
That's yeah,
that's the point where it's like the concept is like this stuff is more like uh, a passing glance or like a passing notice, right?
yes.
Like it's
And,
not something that we're quite really gonna focus on as a main story.
yeah. So like what they're doing like it's the guy Flash, the guy in Spider-Man,
Mhm.
the
Yep,
guy who keeps talking shit about him. Like he has
Ash
a
Moss.
blog, like a blog thing and shit, it's like that it's huge, right? So it's like
Yeah.
they are implementing it. Like even in the second Spider-Man, Happy even says like if it weren't for your videos, we wouldn't have found you. Like
Mhm. I
it's
think to do something like that, I honestly
mm,
think from that point of view, uh, Venom Let There Be Carnage would have been the perfect, not the perfect movie, but a great movie to do that.
yeah, and
And
I think
that makes me think that a movie like that, you would have to watch the perspective of like an outsider. I don't
yeah,
mean like an outsider, like a bad boy, but like someone who's not the guy doing this, the planet saving. You'd have to have
uh,
someone who isn't the superhero, in my opinion, and how. I mean, like I'm saying, in No Way Home, we're obviously seeing the effects of social media damage Peter Parker's social life and his privacy. But I don't think the kind of movie that you're talking about would necessarily be about that. And again, you can tell me if I'm
mm,
fucking bullshit at the end of the spiel, but I feel like it would be more of an average individual noticing or seeing or experiencing how social media affects how they view superheroes or
yeah,
how superheroes are viewed. And I don't know if MCU or Disney will ever make a movie like that because I mean, I doubt you're going to see like a building explode, you know, while someone's crashing through it or a lot of action sequences or even maybe a particularly likable character. I
hmm
mean, I don't think Eddie Brock is a particularly decent person, but
yeah,
I think the concept of the whole social media investigative journalism, well, that was my personal ad. I think the idea of using social media in a movie like Let There Be Carnage would have been a very fascinating idea
yeah,
and make that a more pivotal. I'm not talking like, oh, he looked up a couple Facebook posts and pinpointed. I'm talking like, cross referencing and and looking at how perception of this man's changed because he talks about having fans, Cletus Cassidy. What
yes,
like I thought that was going to come into play. I thought he was going to have a couple of like uh you know fans like cult members who
right,
who were doing his dirty work, or like they did like the what is it, Grace's Cathedral in San Francisco. I
yeah,
thought that trailer, when they did him in front of the stained glass, there was going to be like some Church of Carnage kind of thing that social media could have really amplified his reach.
agreed. No, yeah,
Oh yeah,
that would have been cool.
yeah,
I think it's a good take. But I'm sure Sony was a little rushed on just getting things
yeah.
done.
No, I get you.
We're like so I'm trying to figure out how much say does Sony have on the movies, or
Well,
is it
they
like
do own the rights.
that's
I
what I'm saying?
think.
Do they just like are they just like getting paid to use so the Marvel can use Spider Man, and they're like you could do whatever you want with the character. We just want the money, you know?
Yeah,
Or
I don't know.
do they give the go like
Not sure.
they get to see the movie first, and then they're like, okay, that's fine. You're not making Spider-Man look like a fucking asshole. So, yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
because I think the genie's been pulled out of the bottle a bit. I don't
mhm.
know for the formula that I keep wanting to say MCU, for the formula that Disney wants. I feel like the fact that Spider-Man is in an environment where he's now, interacting with Doctor Strange, Captain America, the Avengers. Uh, I think it would be very difficult to do a Spider-Man movie where none of that is available. Like, I don't care. Like,
Right.
again, I've talked to you about this, where it's like it's not the biggest deal on the planet. Like, a Spider-Man is still one of the most popular superheroes, can survive and make money. But
Yeah.
I really do feel like the fact that they have him introduced, or interacting with these characters, adds to it to a degree, so long as you're not jam packing a story with like meaningless and nonchalant cameos. um I think it'd be tough if Sony was just like, no, we're going to make a completely different Spider-Man, yada yada. I think that would be
Yeah.
tough. I think they would be coming from a disadvantage there. And I don't necessarily mean that in a negative way for Sony. If they wanted, like, they literally made Into the Spider-Verse. I thought Into the Spider-Verse was like one of the best fucking superhero movies out there.
Yeah. Now, I still
But they did it
haven't
from a
seen it.
completely different perspective. Really?
Yeah, I should, huh?
I gots to show you. I gots to show you.
It's on Disney Plus. I've
Um,
seen it, but I've seen the poster. I just haven't sat down and watched it.
Sit your fucking ass down and watch it, okay, pal?
Okay. So, like,
Yeah.
how involved is it when it comes to like the MCU? Is it like its own standalone thing that you just sit down and watch it and has nothing to do with
Yes,
the
it's
MCU?
completely
Okay.
standalone.
Okay.
Like,
Perfect.
it has your typical like references to a couple other characters, but it's almost entirely Spider-Man. One or two like visual references, uh, and one Daredevil bad guy, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's really fun. It's a really enjoyable film. For anyone who hasn't seen it, who's watching, listening, I do recommend. It's really fun. It's really heartwarming. Great voice acting. Just a visual spectacle. And I think it's one of the few movies that I genuinely think has ever been able to compete with like a golden age Disney Pixar film. If that like characterizes how good this movie is.
Mm,
Animated movie, I
okay.
mean, animated movie
Yeah.
to compete. But let's see. I enjoyed this movie way more than I thought I would. And I think it was coming from a place of low expectations. Um, Let me point out, on its own, at face value, I think this movie is not particularly great. Like, it's fun, the comedy's good, but I think it suffers from similar problems that Venom 1 has. But comparing the two, it's far more cohesive of a movie. It
Mm,
just gels far much better. Like, the comedy's better, the emotional stuff is a lot better, even if I think there's a different emotional like sector that this movie fucking falls flat on. Um, like, the repertoire between Tom Hardy and himself as Eddie Brock
yeah.
and Venom, I think is really good. Um, the whole like premise that they actually are a good team despite some of their like you know the fact that they're good for one another, I think is something that they point out in the beginning of the movie, and
Mm,
they like at least very sloppily get, you know, the home run on, which Venom didn't even didn't even try to do. Like, I know I bring this up all the time, but in Venom 1, there's like nothing, there's no through line. And then there's this moment where fucking Tom Hardy's Eddie gets Venom back, and there's the weirdest line where he says, "Cut the bullshit. Why'd you really come back?" and without having any real emotional connection with the character, without any kind of like rapport or emotional connection. Well, I already said that. Venom literally says, "You, Eddie, I came back for you." And I feel like they really wanted us to feel that moment, and there was
Yeah.
nothing there. Whereas I do feel like, as corny as some of the parts were, the kind of Abbott and Costello kind of relationship that these two have actually really had more emotional weight to it.
Hmm.
Like,
I can agree.
Eddie Brock is like so exhausted with Venom just existing in his head. And you can see it. I mean, fucking Tom Hardy brings another performance where he just looks like he's physically uncomfortable. Like in every scene, like he like walks with like a puckered anus, his shoulders are fucking like his shoulders are so tense and like he's slightly hunched over. And I hope that's not how he like exists in real life. But
Yeah.
like hearing him have like this really fast-paced, really funny rapport with Venom is something that I didn't expect. Um, and I really enjoyed. Uh, Something that I noticed, I don't think it was particularly great, but I'm noticing the more I like talk about it, the more I feel like it highlights what was missing from the previous movie. I thought the music was kind of a little better. It was just
Hmm.
noticeably like
Okay.
zanier. Like it felt
Yeah.
like it had some like alien abduction-y kind of like ooh vibes to it that I thought was very like not subtle. There's no subtlety in this fucking movie, but like it was like a sleeper. Like it just caught you by surprise, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can get behind
Um,
that.
let's see. Okay. So I feel that there are two problems I have with the movie. I feel like I have a problem with the character of Mulligan, the cop, and I have a problem with Cletus Cassidy.
Okay.
And it's not so much the characters, it's how they're portrayed, because Mulligan serves no real purpose in the movie other than to kind of be a thorn in Eddie Brock's side. When
Yeah.
Cletus Cassidy uses Carnage to escape, Mulligan investigates Brock and he's like, how, he's wearing a funny suit and he's making people see things, and you're connected to all this, and I'm a San Francisco cop, but I got a New York accent, so you tell me the truth, you bastard. And there's really nothing of connection other than, he was there and injured Shriek and has to be there at the end. And then he gets like killed, but not, and his eyes are glowing in the end, and it's supposed to foreshadow something. I don't know. Maybe something with Morbius if he exists in this universe. Um,
Right.
but I enjoy the actor who plays the character. He was in I don't have his name offhand. He was in Snatch. He was in Boardwalk Empire. Uh, Tinker Tailor. He's a pretty enjoyable actor, and I feel like they really left his character to the wayside. And the other thing is Cletus Cassidy. I don't mind at all that they killed him in this movie. I really don't. Like, I gave you an alternative where I said to myself, yeah, you know what? It would be cool if we kind of kept the character going. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't mind. I actually really don't mind. Uh, but what I do mind is the fact that, like, there's a line he says in the end where he's been defeated. uh, Venom snacks on Carnage right in front of him as he's defeated like a weird Gansito, and he lifts up Cletus Cassidy, and Cletus Cassidy has this moment where uh, Eddie Brock does the whole half face underneath Venom kind of thing, and Cletus says, "All I ever wanted was a friend," and then Venom just eats him, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck? Because we only really get that's the problem I have with some of this is that like we don't get enough conflict between Eddie Brock and Cletus Cassidy. These are the two characters that like need to have some kind of conflict together. Venom and Carnage, I don't give a shit. Like I don't care. Uh, you can do the comedy thing with Brock and Venom, that's fine, and do your own dynamic with Carnage and Cletus, which they don't really do all that much of.
Yeah.
But I really felt like there should have been more of a cat and mouse, because the cat and mouse is what I think would have paid that scene off a little bit better. That he's the psychopath who, like, you know, believe it or not, really does want a friend or whatever.
Right.
Um, and what do we get in the entire movie? We get two scenes, like a 2-minute scene in the beginning, another 2-minute scene, like 5 minutes after that, um, and then the ending third act. And there's no interaction between the characters at all until the third act after he escapes.
Yeah.
So if there was some kind of like I'm playing with you thing, uh, you know, I want you to really think like this isn't about like power for me. I don't know how I'm phrasing this. I guess I'm looking at this from the end to the middle, where Cletus says all I ever wanted was a friend and no one ever stood me, and I wanted you to write my story, because that's the beginning of the movie. Is Cletus
Right.
calls Brock in to help him write like this memoir where he's being kind of an ass. But like that's not really taken seriously, and I feel like if we wanted that line in the end to ring true, the the interactions between the characters should have been far more numerous.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not necessarily saying Silence of the Lambs, but I really do think they went for that vibe, but on a surface level. And I think if
Mm-hmm.
they had dug a little more into that, like they kind of like peer into each other's souls, because Eddie Brock is a fucking idiot in this movie. Uh, and like Cleese Cassidy is this, for the most part, like supposed like genius serial killer, I guess. Like they try to paint him as like a Hannibal Lecter almost, but the movie doesn't really do anything with that. Or you could just have the entire movie as it is and just have him die a little more spitefully. Um,
Yeah.
I'm okay with either endings or either instances, but I really see. I ran into this problem when I was talking to you with about Loki, right?
Yeah.
Where I feel like underneath this story about like a time traveling warlock who has been like keeping the flow of time safe from versions of himself, and like an authoritarian timekeeping like bureau and all that, is a story about like someone coming to terms with who they are and facing or and realizing who they could be, or different aspects of themselves by hunting a variant of themselves down. Like I told you at the end of that series, man, it would have been really interesting if the story I think was just smaller. If it had to do with him just trying to find this character, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that is something. See, that's the thing, is that I don't think that would make money necessarily. I mean, maybe, maybe not. I think Joker was, every incel's fucking wet dream and made a shitload of money. But I don't think when people want to go see a Venom movie, they see Eddie Brock doing investigating. But when I hear about a Venom movie, the fact that they set this movie up where Eddie Brock is this investigative journalist, and like now that's just kind of window dressing, uh that's the disappointing part for me. Like you can still have your third act um fight in the end, but I feel like there was an entire middle section that could have really highlighted Like, okay, so who is Cletus Cassidy? Like, are we similar? Like, what makes us similar? Cletus in the movie says that we're similar, and it's just like one of those, again, skin deep statements. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, what about my relationship with Venom? What does his relationship with Carnage mean to my relationship with Venom? Does that challenge my relationship with Venom at all? Or what? And like during a good portion of that movie, the mid section, like they're separate. And I think that's fine too, except with the exception of one scene, he does no investigative journalism. The beginning of the fucking movie, Venom literally solves the case for him.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay, cool. So Eddie Brock's literally just an idiot on his own. Um, that's the part that gets me is it's like you could take out the I just wanted to be friends, Eddie, and it just irks me less. But you would have to rework the entire middle of the movie to fit this line. And I feel like that would be more enjoyable as a movie. But it wouldn't necessarily be the kind of movie that caters like, oh yeah, let's have two fucking CGI goo monsters fighting. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I
But
mean,
yeah, that's yeah. Go ahead.
no, I kind of get what you're saying with between Brock and Cassidy. Like, it, if it was just a little bit longer, I think, and I think the other thing is just the whole like, why build why build a story between characters who are not going to be together because maybe they only want Venom in the MCU right now, right? So it's like, why? But and the other thing is also multiverse, right? So Brock's
Hmm.
being pulled away from his universe into this universe. So
So what now?
they
Yeah.
can yeah. So what now? Like he's not like he can go back, and like you know duel with Cassidy now because now he's in a completely
Yeah.
different universe. So it's like
Yeah. And I don't think,
you know,
I mean, just from a logistics standpoint, I don't think Cassidy is the kind of character that the MCU would want.
correct.
Like they've been very Disney or Marvel has been very keen on keeping like the you literally have a giant purple dude who wants to commit genocide, but like they don't quite create that edgier aspect. Like I don't know how to put it. Like I find the idea of a serial killer that like uses the symbiote to stick his tongue down a security guard's like body and kill him that way
Mm,
like more graphic and more unnerving than a guy who wants to like literally wipe out half the universe. I from how they've made their subject matter. Like guns are fine, kicking people into walls, exploding people, burnings, like all of that is not whitewashed, but rendered fairly PG. And I
yeah,
don't think this movie uh, particularly cares about a PG. I mean, it's not an R-rated film by any means, but I feel like the subject, like the visual aspect of it, is not something that Disney Marvel wants, and that is all Cletus Cassidy is.
yeah,
And that's something that like I think they could try to skirt by with Venom. But like Cletus is literally a serial killer who just like mutilates people, especially with Carnage. So I don't know.
No, overall, Eddie Venom banter was amazing.
Oh yeah,
Excited for them to be in the MCU.
I'm excited for Morbius. He's gonna get an entire universe on his own doing nothing.
Just
I
chained up.
can't wait until he's talking to his vampire alter ego and he's like, "Man, Morbius, the vampire alter ego, man, what's it like traveling all across South America?" And Morbius, the vampire alter ego, is like, "Oh, you have no idea. It's it's so different. If I told you all the things that I learned traveling across South America as a vampire. And then he just, vibrates into the next fucking dimension.
True.
Yeah, I could see it happening.
Yeah, we
I
can
could
all
see it
see that
happening.
happening.
But yeah,
Um,
I know I'm hard on it, but as you were saying, like the whole point is to watch Carnage and Venom fight. So I do think one as well that it's a far easier fight to watch, mainly because the fucking character is red and the other character is not red,
yeah.
or one character's black and the other character isn't fucking black.
Yep.
Um, so that's pleasant, and that's you know Andy Serkis, the guy who did the Lord of the Rings, or uh Part
Smeagol.
B, not Part B, but yeah,
Hmm?
he directed this. So he
Yeah.
at least has some minor understanding of how to fucking shoot a fight scene. I'm not
Right.
saying it's good, but he at least has a better grasp on how to visually show how fighting goes. So,
Yeah.
um, I'm gonna give it like a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
So Venom, I think, was a very, very middling low 6 for me, but this one gets a
Okay.
nice 7.
Nice 7.
Yeah, like a smiley face 7. I'm not saying it's like a 7.5. That's not what I'm saying. It's a nice 7.
Oh, okay. See,
Like a
for me,
comfortable 7. Okay?
yeah.
Like it doesn't have to worry about my opinion dropping it. Because like when I say like, oh man, I really would have liked this cat and mouse psychopath serial killer investigative journalist thing. That's me like just kind of gushing in a way that I like would like to see a movie. It doesn't mean like this movie be better. The thing that I just watched is dog shit. I hate it. I just feel like it could
Mhm.
have been better if it just slowed down. If it had like an extra maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But anyway, my opinion is dog shit. What else are we talking about, bud?
Next,
Mm.
um, do you want to do um, quick little? Let's just talk about Malignant. Tell me about it.
Malignant's bad.
Oh, okay. So, just give me a quick explanation of what
Do
the
you
hell the
want
movie's about.
a spoiler run
Yeah,
over, or do you want me
spoil,
to do the
spoil,
generic?
spoil the shit. I don't think I'm gonna watch this movie, so spoil it.
I actually think you should watch it. I think you would
Oh,
like it. Um,
and this is a
I
horror
don't like
movie?
it because, yeah, a horror
Okay.
action.
Horror action.
So,
It's like Resident Evil.
no, Resident Evil's dog shit.
Right.
This is rat shit. No, I'm
Mm,
kidding. I'm literally mincing hairs, splitting hairs. Kind of. It's not guns and ammo-y. It's a little more karate.
okay.
So the first 5 minutes are what really like pulled me in. The first
Mm,
5 minutes have like this reanimator kind of feel to it. Um, it takes place in an asylum. This unseen person is having like a violent episode. They sedate them, and then uh, you hear the camera like pans to this woman, and she says, "All right, time to cut out the tumor," and then it malignant.
huh.
And then it goes to a woman in an abusive relationship, a pregnant woman in an abusive relationship, and people start dying.
Mm,
So this woman is pregnant. She is being hit by her husband.
okay.
Her head's thrown against a wall, and she kicks the husband out of the room. He ends up dead in like 5 minutes. Investigations happening. Da 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 da. More and more people start dying, and it's this entity called Gabriel. And little do we know that Gabriel is the main character's imaginary friend,
Oh.
right? Okay, and you're like, oh, that can't be fucking right. Like, this makes no fucking sense. Um, so we find out too that the main character is adopted and that her sister
Mm.
isn't really her sister and her parents aren't really her parents. Um, but we find out that when she was adopted, before she kind of like copied and pasted her memory away or cut and pasted her memory away, she was actually a very disturbed kid the first couple of months that she was adopted. She would go into these trance states and like say things that really freaked out the parents, almost cutting out her adoptive mother's like fetus baby from her belly. Um and all of this is due to her imaginary friend, Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only, I mean, the first 5 minutes of the movie kind of spoils it if you're keen-eyed enough. I was not, um, until I saw a scene where the cops come across the victim because the main character has this psychic link with Gabriel. She enters this like state where she's unable to move, and she sees Gabriel murdering these people. So the cops go over, and this like dude, Gabriel, has this long black hair and this like long trench coat and is running like really weird and all this stuff and is climbing walls like weird. It almost feels like a Guillermo del Toro thing, but I that's neither here nor there. It's at that point when I started noticing how the person was moving that I realized what was fucking going on. Um, it turns out that it's the main character.
Yeah, seems like it.
So, no. See, this is where it's kind of interesting. Gabriel was a parasitic conjoined twin on the back of the main character's body.
And so
So,
her hitting her head woke it up.
mhm. So, here is the plot
Okay.
or the synopsis of all of this now. In the fucking early 90s, this woman gives birth, doesn't want the kid, gives it to this sanatorium or insane asylum, right? She's there for a couple years and has this like disgusting like thing on her back. Like it's literally like a face on the back of her head and two tiny little fucking T-Rex arms on the back of her shoulder, and it's like whispering in her like head to do things. It has the ability to persuade her to do things and sometimes control her movement. And
Huh.
eventually they decided to just like sedate her and remove Gabriel like a fucking athlete's foot thing, just scraping him off, right? And they pushed his face into like her skull and they put her skull back on and whatever. So when the husband pushed her head against the wall, it cracked her skull and it woke him up, or it
Ooh.
gave him the ability to leave her body. And so, two-thirds of the way through the movie, she's arrested and she's in this cell. And of course, she's in this cell where all the stereotypical, like, cell block women are just harassing the shit out of her. And she goes into the state where Gabriel wakes up and she's pulling the back of her hair, the hair on the back of her head. And it's
Mm.
kind of like when the cockroach from Men in Black like pulls off its skin, right?
Yeah.
You see Gabriel's face popping out of the skull and her body fucking contorts to accommodate like Gabriel using the body. So the arms like moderately contort and the body like as if like the body is now facing in the opposite direction. Murders fucking everyone in the room, breaks out of the cell, and a action sequence occurs where someone wearing, I shit you not, I can't make this fucking shit up. A guy in a long slender trench coat, probably a stunt actor, with the actress's face on the back of his head
Wow.
doing like parkour, climbing on walls, kicking people action sequence.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um oh god, I can't believe I said that.
Yeah.
They find the mother. Uh the woman gains control of the body through the power of love and stops him from killing her long lost estranged mother. Uh
Yeah.
and all that. And it ends. Um I'm hearing a lot of mixed stuff with this. I'm hearing, oh man, this is a genre bending, you know, freshing, refreshing thing, or I'm hearing like, oh, this is stupid. I just I was so interested in the movie in the first 5 minutes because the first 5 minutes felt so campy and in the vein of Reanimator,
Hmm.
and then the rest of the movie felt like an average fucking Conjuring movie with kung fu.
Huh.
And this was directed by James Wan, and I think this is honestly his first. mm, I don't want to be mean. I feel like this is his first real dud. Like, he
Okay.
did the first Saw film. He did Insidious. He's done the first two Conjuring movies. Uh, the fucking Fast and Furious movies. He's done fucking Aquaman. He's got a pretty accomplished sheet in front of him. I feel like this is the first
Okay.
one where like I want to like this movie because it's like, oh, it's like a weird parasitic thing on the back of her head and it like contorts her body to take control and it does karate or martial arts. But like I feel like the first 5 minutes someone else directed the movie. Like they were so self-aware that this movie was going to be so silly. And then James Wan directed and was like, no, this is my passion project. I want to make it. And just completely sapped all of the that like self just a grant I mean sapped all of the self-referencing humor out of it almost.
Boo.
Um yeah, I know. It wasted so much. Again, I I want to like it. I really do. But it's the first movie I think where it felt very derivative. Like they're in this house that looks like it's something from a Conjuring movie set in the 70s. Uh, some of his visual style still sticks out. Like I do like James Wan's like eye, but I don't think there's enough of that. And then it of course becomes like Underworld with some of the like the trench coat karate kind of stuff that I don't know. I do recommend you see it because I think it's campy in your wheelhouse, but I don't know if it's something that you
Mm.
would genuinely like. But I'm torn.
It reminds me of, I don't know if it's an urban legend or whatever, but it reminds me of the uh of a character of someone like that. I don't in real life, but I don't know if it was like a made up thing or not. But of a person with like like that had a second head that was in their basically the back of their head, and like he would talk about how like it would like say things to him like to do shit and whatnot. And then
Hmm.
he like ended up committing suicide because it was just he said he couldn't take it anymore and whatnot. But um,
Hmm.
yeah, kind of like the first Harry Potter with the dude with the thing on top
Yeah,
of his
that's
head.
that's literally it.
Yeah,
It's
that
literally Professor Quirrell spinoff.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. I'll see. Did you see it on a streaming platform?
HBO Max, and you have my
Oh,
account, you mother.
I do. So I might have to sit down and watch it.
You
I'll
goddamn
make some
right.
time. I'll watch it Saturday night. It's already 11:30 and shit. Um, um,
I believe in you.
yeah. Okay. You want to move on to video games?
Fuck yeah.
All right. Tell me Deathloop.
Okay,
Talk
I'll get through this one
Deathloop.
quickly. I talked a lot about this movie last week, but you know what? I guess I'm just gonna have to skim it down a little bit. Um, I really do like this movie. I really do like this game. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
finished it. I'm remiss. No, that's not the right word. I'm hesitant to finish it. I have a fun time with it. I really do. Um, I'll stop gushing.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Visually, it's striking. I loved the retro '60s kind of James Bond, cartoony James Bond vibe it has. The best way I can explain it is it would be a mix of like James Bond with the watered down subject matter of Half-Life with the visual aesthetic of like a Half-Life
Okay.
Team Fortress 2. Like that kind of funny, campy, like wacky arcadey nature that Team Fortress 2 has. I would apply it to Deathloop, just make it a little more serious and put in some James Bondy stuff in there.
Mm.
I think the selling point for me is the characters. I find the main character Colt and his rapport with Juliana Blake, your antagonist, the person who comes into your game space to wreck your shit, is some of the most human fucking dialogue I've ever seen. And I'm not talking like dramatic or, you know, deep. I'm just talking about like hearing them talk and bicker and like make each other laugh and a little bit of seriousness. Like that shit made me gravitate to this game so much more. The beginning of each level, doesn't matter however many times you play it, um, your character within the story of the game moves through the four areas via like subterranean tunnels. And whenever they leave one of the tunnels, they start this dialogue with the character. And
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to run into one that is the same. I think I've done like 40 loops, not 40 loops, but like 40 transitions to like different of Jesus, 40 different transitions between the four main areas. And I
Okay.
haven't run into like the same piece of dialogue yet. That's that's fucking great. And I really love that. There's nothing more humanizing than uh feeling like your character isn't like a nameless badass. I love Halo. I love stuff like, you know, Jack and Daxter or Half-Life or, all that shit. But usually your protagonist is silent. And some of the times you're kind of meant to just input your own emotional values onto this character. And that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't always work, mainly because most of the time it's a first person shooter where you're not meant to like place your values into a character, so you don't. But
Yeah.
this is the first time where like really got the impression that I was playing a character, like
Okay.
someone who is alive, someone who has values or a good sense of humor. Uh, and that's a fucking first for me, and I commend the game for that. Um, Nothing more humanizing than playing the game and walking into a mine, and instead of hearing like a ah uh, I heard a shriek. Like he literally shrieks if he walks into a mine or like gets hit by a mine. It's the funniest thing, and the character's a fucking badass. Colt Vaughn, he's
Yeah.
this fucking handsome black dude in this like uh aviator jacket with these fucking huge like magnum pistols. Like he looks like a classic fucking action star. And it's so great hearing him talk and being confused and like bubbly and jumpy and angry and like all of those emotions that you don't typically see in a character. It's usually like brooding or like funny or overly dramatic. And I like that there's a human middle ground with him and
Yeah.
Juliana. Um, visually stunning characters. Um, I like how they set up the gameplay. So there, as I said before, there are 4 areas. They're all weirdly named. There's Fristed Rock or Freestad Rock, Updom, Complex,
Up dog.
and yeah, Updom. What's Updom? Uh, and Jesus, another weirdly named one called Something Bay. So you have those 4 areas, and then you
Mhm.
have 4 time cycles: morning, noon, afternoon, night. Uh, you time doesn't move while you're in one area, but the moment you move to another area, it becomes the next time zone. Um, and there are objectives that can be completed within those zones that vary from like getting a new weapon, solving puzzles, killing the target that you need to kill. But the overall objective is within these 4 locations and within these 4 time zones, you need to kill 8 people. And to just kill them in chronological order wouldn't work because there are characters who are in or there are characters who are in different. There are 2 characters in 2 different locations that you can't kill, so you have to figure out how to get them somewhere to get both of them, or how to get one of them somewhere else to kill them at another time that's convenient. So to do that, you are allowed to go into these sandboxy areas to find clues that help you do that. Um, I think like 85% of the way through the game, uh, and I've gotten to the point where you are given the plan, and the plan is
Okay.
essentially the perfect loop, the loop that gets all of them in one sitting. Uh, which is you kill one of them in the morning, you kill 2 of them in the afternoon, and uh, or one in the morning, one at noon, 2 in the afternoon, and then that's I'm probably miscounting this. Fuck off, doesn't matter. Not you. Whoever is gonna give me shit about it. And then 3 in the night. Um, and I enjoy that so far. I'm trying to milk as much fun as I can out of it. Um, couple problems.
Oh.
I mentioned this before to you two, but I feel like as good a game as this is, I do feel like Arcane's previous time loop game is, I think, a more successful time loop game.
Mhm.
Prey Moon Crash.
Yeah.
Prey Moon Crash has far more role playing aspects to it. Prey Moon Crash, for anyone who doesn't know, you have to kind of do the same thing in reverse. You have to get 5 people off of a space station alive in one sitting. So instead of killing 8 people in one sitting, you have to get 5 people off in one sitting. So each and every one of these characters has abilities, has penalties, and perks. So you have to get acquainted with every facet of Prey's playstyles, from like psionic abilities to tech abilities to hardware abilities to, you know, uh, there's one guy who's just big, beefy, and hits shit really hard with a wrench. There's another person who makes turrets, another person who has psionic abilities, and then there's like the stealthy person. Prey Mooncrash does a better job at forcing people to play, and I don't mean to say forcing in a bad way, but making people play in different avenues. And uh pathways, loot, and enemies are all randomized each time you run. Now, that is the same for Deathloop. Oh, hold on. No, I apologize. The changing environments are the same. So morning and noon is fairly standard, and then afternoon and night, a snowstorm hits, and it changes the geography a bit, and it shows a couple open access areas that can change how you play the game a bit. But other than that, there's not much randomization. You're not really encouraged to play any different way. I'm pretty much the stealthy assassin,
Yeah.
so there's not much that pushes me out of my comfort zone the way Prey Mooncrash did. Prey Mooncrash, there was one person that truly benefited from being a stealthy assassin. The other ones, okay, maybe I want to parse out how I play a bit. The other one, nope, guns blazing is absolutely how you're supposed to play this character. So I became a little more familiar with how to play each and every, style. And that I thought was a little more rewarding. Um, I don't think there are enough, well, there aren't. There are not any like enemy types. There's just crackhead with gun. And the
Mm.
guns are a little different. And that's about it, which is a little disappointing because I don't feel like it offers you a sense of challenge in how you tackle these characters other than going against a person invading your game. So I forgot to mention one final thing I'll say that I really love.
Mm-hmm.
I love the taint curling fucking sense of anxiety you can get going into an environment and not getting Juliana, the antagonist, to come into your play area before you've completed what you need to complete. So
Yeah.
going into the game or the area, you're like, okay, I have to kill this person. That's easy. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's not pretty difficult to go and do that. But I can guarantee you from the amount of times I play, the more and more you realize how this works, that this person will come into your area and fuck your shit up if you're not careful, makes you on edge so much more. And I really appreciate that. I'll be playing and I'll be like 20 minutes into an environment just trying to like kill some time and wait for her to come before like I'm getting ready to assassinate my target, and this fucking chick just drops in from the fucking sky with a fucking double shotgun, just wrecking my fucking day, right? That
Yeah.
is really great. That creates this sense of vulnerability that I only ever felt in like a horror game that I really appreciate. Okay. So, uh again, I can almost credit Arcane Studios with making solid gameplay mechanics and no story. The story is about as straightforward as Dishonored's,
Okay.
where, oh, hey, we have to kill these people. You can flesh out the story a little bit from reading, um, but that's it. Kill these people. You're given a choice at the end. Uh, there you go. There's your game. And
Mm.
I feel like that hurts it. I don't know on any level if it does, but I'm thinking to myself like I'm like 85% of the way in, mainly because I haven't gotten all of like the collectible stuff yet. Um, I'm like one run away from essentially finishing the game, but I feel like there should be more. Like absolutely should be more, which I was a little disappointed in. The story, spoilers for anyone, is the story of a father and a daughter. And Juliana is Colt's daughter, and they have some really fucked up relationship.
Mm.
Of course, if your daughter is killing you and making you re-loop every morning and killing you again, that's obviously a fucked up relationship. But I feel like there's so much more that could have been addressed other than just the morning dialogue stuff. I don't even mean like cutscenes, but Dishonored Arcane has this really strange habit of having very paper thin stories. And I'm really getting tired of it, actually.
Mm.
I will never fault them for their, I think, pretty good gameplay mechanics, their gameplay philosophy, um, the amazing worlds that they want to create. But I do think it's a very glaring weakness that they don't really have much in the way of story. Uh, and I think again with Prey Moon Crash, you are rewarded for exploration. Um, every single one of Arcane's games has like a nook within a nook and cranny. And
Mm.
Deathloop is no exception, except I feel like they have increased the difficulty and the complexity of some of their nooks without offering like quality benefits to that or rewards to that. I mentioned this last week. I apologize if it's okay if I could go over this real quick for a moment.
Yeah.
Okay. So the main currency in the game is residuum. It's just this substance that you pick up. Um, in the beginning of the game, you get an ability called Infuse, and that allows you to carry weapons and trinkets and abilities and whatnot from previous loops to your contemporary from or to your current loop. Um, and this currency is completely useless. You get it from killing visionaries, the 8 people that you have to kill. You get it from killing Juliana. Um, and just from doing that, you'll have more than enough to pay for weapons and gear that you're a god by like the third loop. Um, which is so disappointing because there are some really, really fun puzzles in this game. Uh, the first like 8 hours of the game, I was wondering why there were like a couple of numbers across some of the buildings in Updom. And I just by happenstance managed to find this cave underneath this mansion. Uh, and it had these markers that corresponded to those numbers. And I was so excited because I found I just thought of these numbers and I'm like, this has to mean something, but I kind of let it go. And then I found this thing and I found the second part of the clue, right? And, you know, I did actually have to look up how to figure out how to fix part of this puzzle or solve part of this puzzle. And it has to do with triangulating the numbers and then kind of like counting them in a weird way. Um, but once I got the middle part done, I solved the rest of it pretty much on my own. And I was rewarded with just residuum,
Mm.
which was really disappointing. Like really disappointing. I can't begin to tell you how disappointing it is to play an arcade game where one of their philosophies is to reward exploration, and you're just rewarded with a currency that is obsolete. Like the moment you've completed I think I'm probably being a little hyperbolic here, but the moment you probably complete your second loop.
Ooh.
I mentioned to you last week that there are a couple of things. There's weapons, which vary. Uh, there are trinkets, which mod how you play or how your character moves and interacts. Uh, and trinkets for your guns as well, like extra magazine, higher precision, and then trinkets, like I said, for you, which give you like double jump or you choke out enemies quicker, so on and so forth. And then there are slabs, which are abilities that you get from killing the visionaries, those 8 people that you have to kill,
Yeah.
like shift. which is essentially Dishonored's Blink, a short range teleportation, or going invisible, or like telekinetic abilities, or uh, chain kills. Uh, and you can upgrade these by killing the same visionary multiple times. But I was
Oh,
thinking one thing that would have been really cool is you get a an additional thing. Like
okay.
so they have the guns, they have the slabs, they have the trinkets, and then once you complete some of these really, really complex puzzles, you get gadgets.
Okay.
Like in Dishonored 1, you have a telescope and it gives you like zoom or extra zoom, right? If you do a couple things for it. It would have been really nice if you got like an additional thing that gave you a permanent buff. Like you couldn't do anything with it, like you can't upgrade it or anything, but it just changes or or upgrades the way you play with something. Like, oh, here's a thing that like you wear and it helps you do this, or it upgrades how you do that, or it makes this easier. I felt like that would have been far more rewarding because you found this gadget that helps how you play and not just helps, your grind be a little easier. Um God, I feel like I ripped into this game a little bit. I love this game. I do. Um but I did want to talk about the things that I did notice were a little disappointing to me.
Yeah.
The disappointment that I have been pointing out pales in comparison to my genuine enjoyment. Like I can watch the vistas for like hours. I could hunt down some of these people and kill them a million times. There's one guy who I just love who has the invisibility slab, and
Yeah.
killing him every single time or trying to is always so fun. And I will always recommend a game from Arcane, especially Deathloop.
Hmm.
It's an immensely fun game. I'm sure they're going to come out with a DLC. I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
Still enjoying this game. I haven't finished it yet. I want to get more out of it. I'm still trying to find some of the guns and whatnot, the exotic guns. But
Mm.
I do recommend it is very fun.
If it ever goes on sale on the PlayStation, I'll buy it.
Tell me so that I can invade your thing and fucking wreck you, you little bastard.
Sounds fucking yeah. I'm down.
Get fucking
Um,
wrecked. Did we want to talk about Diablo or Halo?
first, I know you hopped onto Halo.
Okay.
Tell me about that. And then,
So I have been selected out of
whoa.
a small handful of people on this planet. I've rigorously been vetted. No, I just signed up for Insider, and I'm part of the second flight of Halo Infinite's multiplayer. So far, I have played 4v4 Slayer, and I played one round of Big Team Battle.
Yeah.
Uh, I like it. I do.
Okay.
I feel like there is an aspect to this game that harkens back to the feeling of the original Halo games, except
Okay.
upgraded controls. Um,
Uh, you mean
when
like just button layout or?
that too, but
Okay.
when I was playing with you on Call of Duty Warzone,
Yeah.
it was the first time I had ever really gotten the chance to like really experiment with stuff like Deadeye or what is it? Movement acceleration or look acceleration.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this game allows you to adjust all of that,
Oh wow.
and it's very enjoyable. Uh, when I first started playing, Dead Zone felt a little sluggish, movement felt a little but I this game really, really, really allows for uh I don't want to say modding, but tweaking of your movements and your
Okay.
interface with a controller, and I really appreciate that. Mm,
Hmm.
Visually, it's stunning. Um,
Of course.
the flight system is very much just basically like a season. Uh, you do this and this amount, you get a progression system. You get like, here's a visor and stuff to customize your armor. Customization is probably the most in-depth Halo's ever been with its customization. Uh,
Hmm.
I tell a lie. It might be. I still
Oh.
think Halo Reach had some of the best customization so far, but Halo Infinite
Mm.
is a very solid second. Um, but yeah, the gameplay feels more akin to Halo of old. You have sprint, but that doesn't overpower anything. You've got some really solid power up abilities like a portable shield, repulsor tech, which is the funnest fucking ability of the game so far. And right behind it in second is the fucking grappling hook. Um,
Oh, that's right. Grappling hook.
it's so good. Oh my god. So grappling hook, you can essentially interface with any surface on the map.
Okay.
And it makes traversal so much more fun. If you're behind one of your allies, you can grappling hook them to catch up, or you can grapple hook an opponent and fucking smack the shit out of them when you get fucking 2 feet away from them.
Mm.
Uh, you can do it on vehicles, which I managed to do only once, but was so rewarding. Uh, but I have to mention repulsor or repulse. Repulse is an ability that essentially like repulses an attack. Um,
Oh.
it's more of like a blast that pushes people back. Um, it can. I've only seen people do it. I haven't been able to do it myself. It can repulse something like a grenade or a rocket blast
Mm.
or vehicles. I was playing on a map once. I was playing on a map with the one time I was playing, and I had repulsor, and it is a circular map with a fucking chasm's drop on all edges. And I was being attacked by a ghost. I ran around cover, grabbed the repulsor thing that was right next to me by fucking luck, and I was panicking. I didn't really know what repulsor did at that point, but I just aimed it at the ghost, and the ghost like happened to have its back to the ledge, and I just repulsed it off the edge, killing the guy.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's really fucking fun. Um the maps, I've played 3 maps, no, 4 maps so far. Uh, I managed to play 3 in combat and 1 in Halo's training mode, which is fairly interesting. It gives you the chance
Mm.
to play with their guns and kind of spar with AI. Uh, 2 of these maps that I played in Slayer or multiplayer were medium-sized maps. Uh,
Hmm.
a decent level of verticality in them. Uh, one of them is like a desert town kind of thing to it. Has a lot of stairs, back alleyways, uh, very solid stuff. Again, I'm not much of a multiplayer game designer, so I don't really know where I'm coming at it from. I just know that I really like side entrances, and I really like some of the corners it has that prevent sniping. Um, the other one is like a water treatment facility plant, which has a lot of like rounded areas, um, really
Okay.
high elevation, really fun for using the grappling hook. Uh, the multiplayer map that I was able to play is like I said, uh, a desert forerunner installation. That's like this raised circular area
Yeah.
with 2 big terminals in the middle of the map that connect. Uh, lots of underground movement, lots of large paneled walls that just cut off sniping, like snipe, no snipe, snipe, no snipe pretty easily.
Mhm.
Man cannons play a really big thing in that. Really good for capture the flag. Um, and then I did the sparring match, I think. No, actually, no. I think I did do a multiplayer map on this other level. I think the level that I will be talking about is kind of their Valhalla Ragnarok Blood Gulch coagulation map.
Okay.
Very foresty, good for CTF and big team. Uh, two bases on each side, so very reminiscent. It's got their classic like valley shaped multiplayer map with the two bases on each side and a whole bunch of stuff in between to fuck with you. So I haven't gotten the chance to play with that one that much. So I think I did get the chance to play all of them. I don't know where I can with the training. Doesn't matter. Um, the gameplay is pretty refreshing with the new control scheme, or not the control scheme, but like how do I want to say that? The control mods then? Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Control modifications. Weapons feel really responsive. The sound design for them is really crisp and neat. The new shotgun packs a wallop. Um,
Okay.
I'm really glad that they removed some of the, or at least diminished the smart scope for these weapons. They took away. I feel like it's more of a regression away from some of the Call of Duty stuff, or at least a consolidation of it,
Mm-hmm.
um, in favor of some of the more Halo-y feeling things. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm pleasantly surprised. I do like this so far. I was dog shit in the beginning. I had like a fucking negative 12 KD, and then I fucking came back, and I've got like an average of like +2 or +3. So
Okay. Good
unlike
shit.
Mr. Call of Duty, I wreck everything for a living 55 KD,
I
Harry
don't know.
Ruiz.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this guy's a fucking Swiss Army human. I swear to God.
No, I just can't take things serious long enough to be that good.
That's why you're so good, because you don't take it seriously. You're like a nihilist in a fucking movie, so you're just like wrecking everything because you don't care.
Mm, fair enough. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed Halo because I know
Thank you.
you grew up playing Halo. Where
Yeah, more or less. I just
yeah,
enjoy it. It was the multiplayer that I kind of grew up into.
yeah, and I'm sure that's what you're looking more forward to than the multiplayer.
Yeah. I mean, again, like playing it with friends was always the thing,
Right, right, right.
but I think there will be a big difference between playing the story and playing the multiplayer, because I think the multiplayer or the story is going to be the thing that I you know I play first, and then the
Yes,
multiplayer would be something that I would play with friends.
true, true, true. And I'm sure because I'm Microsoft Xbox, we could definitely be playing it online. It's
Hmm.
free. The multiplayer is free, so
Yes, it is.
there you go.
Get fucking wrecked,
I'm
Harry.
I'm waiting for Halo VR.
Yes. Apparent. I don't know. There seems to be blah, 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 multiple sources leaked stuff that's saying that like there's going to be BR. There was a big like theory, I guess, supposed leak that there's going to be like a 300 person BR, but I don't know how viable that is. I'm still interested, plain and simple, in seeing what a BR would look like and how
Me
that
too.
would feel for Halo. Um, I, I'm not against BR as a trend. I do like the concept of BR. It's fun. I just feel like sometimes its implementation is a little
Yeah.
and I
I
just
just
wonder what that would be like in Halo.
I just think I've said it before. Halo maps have just always been massive, and it just makes sense of some form of BR. Um, Call of Duty, like I understand, right? PUBG was the first big battle royale game, right? I get it. Fortnite really made it
Oh,
mainstream,
hold
right?
on, hold on.
Oh,
DayZ was the first big one. Come on, man.
well, I mean, yeah, but like,
I'm being an asshole. Keep going.
okay, Fortnite really made it mainstream, right? And I
Yeah.
think Call of Duty really refined what a BR should be, right? Um, I think this is the perfect time for Halo to come out with their
Raw.
BR.
Mhm.
It just
Yeah.
makes sense. Like Halo's been out of the picture for so long. People are eager for a new Halo, and
Mhm.
don't get me wrong, multiplayer is great. Um, Single player is going to be fantastic, but a Halo BR is like
That would be
gonna
fun.
that will be fun, and a lot of people. I think that Halo BR can be the next Warzone, because
I can see it.
we've discussed it before, where Warzone really it's just got stagnant. Like even though they're adding new
Yeah.
weapons, it was stagnant. Like
You're not gonna
there.
see a BR fucking Halo ring fucking turn 1980s.
You're right. Like I think they'll learn from Call of Duty's mistakes, where they'll have multiple maps in rotation, right?
That would be
And
fun.
each map maybe has is based around a chapter in a story. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
something like that.
I like that. No, I think
So
that that would generate some longevity.
yeah, and since there's new story coming out, new maps. So it's just,
Mhm.
and you can just make up maps. And the thing is, you don't need that many maps to rotate around. You really don't. People have been playing the exact same fucking map in Call of Duty for what is this, 2 years now? Over 2 years?
Mhm.
Like, and some people love it. Some people keep playing it. A lot of people complain about it, but they're still playing it. So, can you imagine if you got a Halo VR with rotating maps?
Oh yeah.
You know, like,
Who could compete?
yeah, I think this is the perfect time for Halo to come out, and I think they'll be able to top what Call of Duty had, because they Halo still has a fan base.
Oh yeah.
I feel like they lost them, with Halo 5. They're kind of just like, and then BRs became a thing, and then Warzone. But I think the fan base wants a BR, and I think they can do a fucking fantastic job of uh
Oh yeah.
of making a BR. Because like I was watching Doctor Disrespect, and he was discussing how like it'd be dope if like when you come in spaceships, you come in as a group,
Oh
right?
yeah.
You come in as
Mhm.
spaceships, you land, and like something happens with the spaceship where it needs to either take off or it blows up on right there, right? Where you got to get off quick, you know.
Mhm.
Uh, and the thing is, you choose where you want to land. You're like, I'm gonna land over here. Boom, your fucking
Yeah.
spaceship lands. Your team hops out. The spaceship leaves, or blows up or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
and
that'd
you
be
start going to
really
do anything.
fucking fun if like you either did like a that was represented by like an ODST drop or like I
Mm,
don't know if you would know, but like a Hornet or Bumblebee from Halo 1 where it's like that escape pod with the flaps on the back with the thrusters in the front and it just
mm-hmm.
drops on the ground. That's literally like the opening vehicle in Halo when you first land on the installation. But yeah, no,
Okay.
I like that too. Or
Yeah.
fucking Yeah, so like you select the destination and then the thing like drops in that area. Yeah, that'd be fucking fun.
Yeah, dude. But we'll see. I mean, I'm sure it's still in the works. I'm sure they're trying to refine what they're trying to do before they release it. They've gotten enough slack about Infinite,
Yeah.
trying to force it out, right? It's been what, almost a year since they announced Halo Infinite, and they're like, it's gonna come out, and then like, okay, no, we're gonna
Oh,
delay
it's
it.
been a
It's
year
like,
since they showed like footage for it, but they fucking
yeah.
announced that shit a while ago.
And so it's almost a year since their original release date. I guess
Hmm.
is where I was going. It's been almost a year since their original release date, and the fan base is. I know there's gonna be there are people
Hey,
complaining. There's always people complaining, but there's a lot of people who are okay with the wait as long as you give them a fucking solid product. You know what I mean? Like
oh yeah,
they're
what's that popular fucking like quote? Um a buggy game can always be patched, but a rushed game is always bad.
yeah,
Who said that? Who do we have to attribute that? It doesn't matter. It's a good one nonetheless.
yes. Yeah. So I'm excited for the BR. I'll definitely want to play it when it comes out. I'm glad, like, as a Sony fanboy and someone who will only be buying Sony consoles.
You
I'm
ho.
I'm glad Microsoft does this thing on the PC where I can play Xbox games on the computer. um, but yeah. Anything else from Halo before we move on to our last subject?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. All right. Did you play the original Diablo 2, or
Fuck
has this
no.
been your okay? So we are on the last act of Diablo.
We're on
Um,
the last act? What?
we are on the last act story wise, right? um, so I'll continue with that. What is your thought process of Diablo 2 Resurrected?
It's fun. Um, my bona fides for for the game was that one cutscene that I mentioned watching as a child, of that dude getting fucking blown to bits.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, the CGI of that cutscene as a kid was fucking amazing. And the CGI fucking cinematic cutscenes for this are fucking great. So, that out of the way. Um, I have a lot of fun with this. I've never played an isometric real time. If that is that an RTS?
It's a top-down dungeon crawler.
Yeah, I've never played this kind of game before.
Yeah.
Um, I enjoy this so much when I'm playing with you guys. I haven't
Mm,
played on my own yet. I don't even know if I would enjoy it playing it on my own, but I really do get a great sense of satisfaction when I'm just playing with you guys and just
yeah.
having a shitload of fun, just wrecking an army of like things. And I love playing as a werewolf. Like, again, you know me. I'm usually like just like Dishonored. I'm usually like the rogue or the thief, right?
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get out of my comfort zone because with Divinity I'm playing like a pyro geomancer, and with,
Hmm.
like I said, with this I'm playing more of like a brawler, and it's really fun. I mean, other than clicking like a million times,
Right.
um, I feel like it really is. Well, that's not fair. I don't know if it was streamlined before. It feels streamlined. Your abilities
Hmm.
easily hotkeyed. Your potions are easily hotkeyed. Um, and I love some of the abilities that you can have to, like summoning familiars to fight with you, being aware. Like, I'm sorry, I fucking love being aware. That shit's so fucking
Yeah.
fun. Fucking golden cloud just envelops you, and turn into a werewolf, and you just start wrecking people. And I have barely started to upgrade my character, and I already feel like, you know, they pack a wallop already, and I'm really
Hmm.
excited to see like how high I can get the character and how easy it will be for me to just steamroll over people. And I've never been a tank before, so like the idea of just having me in front of you guys doing the ass kicking is like a foreign but still enjoyable experience for me
Hmm.
that I want to continue.
Good.
What do you
Um,
think, Harry?
well, my thoughts on Resurrected is it's the exact same game, but way better graphics, and it's all I ever wanted. Um, uh, and the biggest thing is just quality of life features, right? Walking over
Mhm.
gold and it picks up automatically.
Yeah, I never
Having
hear you fucking shut up about that. See,
having
back in my day, I had it so much harder than you kids.
it, dude, it was so fucking annoying. The other thing also is the stash space. Oh man,
So helpful.
dude, you have no idea. It was so annoying to only have. So you know how like when you open your stash, you just have that one box.
Yeah.
So imagine just only having that box. You don't have the extra shared boxes. You just have that one fucking
Mm,
box, and that's it.
yeah, that would be a fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah. So yeah, that was fucking annoying. Other than that, they really didn't change anything. They just added quality of life stuff.
Hmm.
And oh, the other thing was Aved talks about it. This is more in depth than when I got into it years ago, right? Fucking 20 20 years ago. Fuck.
Oh my
Um
god.
yeah. Um but having specific rune words outside of ladder. Um because I've only played the offline, I never played ladder. So I personally never got into rune words. I just played basic stuff and played it that way.
Okay.
But so basically, we are on the last act of the story, right?
Uh-huh.
But it doesn't end there.
Oh.
So if you notice, we're only level 24 ish, 25, 24. Because
Yeah.
I remember I fucked up and I didn't put it on Decrepify. 24. We max out at level 99.
Oh.
So with this game, I'm sure you've heard Yvette talk about it. There are difficulty levels.
Ooh.
So there
You
is
tell.
normal, which we've been playing. So once we beat Act 5 on normal, we go on to the next difficulty called Hell. And so Hell is more difficult, and you basically go through the story again, but the enemies are stronger, and you actually run into different you notice how like in certain areas like certain enemies are certain colors compared to other areas.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically that. You go to the next difficulty, and they're different colors sometimes. I think Diablo is a different color too. I think the bosses are different colors when you fight them.
Okay.
If I could be wrong, could be remembering it different. And then after Nightmare, or sorry, just spoiler alert. After Hell mode is Nightmare mode. And that's where you do all your grinding. Once you get to
Okay.
Nightmare, yeah, once you get your Nightmare, and then you fight the big bosses, you go in, and that's where you get the strongest gear, right? The highest level gear. Um, and that's what we're aiming for. So we might be finishing the story, but we're not done. There's a long
So you get to
process.
level 99 in Nightmare, and then you just go back to fucking easy and just become a god.
Basically. And you can kind of do what you want. I mean, you can do kind of like what a vet does. You can kind of farm for things. Like thankfully he's been farming for us to get certain rune words, certain gear, and he's been helping us that way. So when we play, we, are a little stronger than we're supposed to be, which is
Right.
nice. Um, And he obviously he's been helping you with your character. With my character, which I totally recommend you
Oh,
playing at
he's
least
literally
once.
carrying my character. Yeah.
Yeah. I recommend you playing. I recommend you playing every character at least once. Um,
Okay.
and the Necromancer Summoner version is a lot of fun. You just basically
Yeah. For
oh
anyone who doesn't know, Harry just has a bunch of fucking skeleton friends just wrecking everything for him. It's
yeah,
one of the funner things to fucking watch.
yeah.
It feels like
So
we're part of a party.
yeah, a big party. And yeah, so my character's pretty straightforward. Just make a bunch of skeletons and just support them in every way possible. The really nice duo when it comes to characters is the Necromancer and the Paladin, because the Paladin has
Mm.
auras, and
That's
basically,
sitcom right there.
right, you have a Paladin who just has a bunch of auras, and buffing up all the skeletons. So you just
Hmm.
run around and let the skeletons do all the work for you.
God,
Yeah. So,
lazy.
mm-hmm. But again, the paladin at that point isn't super strong on his own. So if the necromancer doesn't have any skeletons or he's gone, the paladin is therefore kind of useless. So there's that downside.
I mean, when is a paladin not useless?
um, but yeah, so there's a lot of work to be done in Diablo. Um,
Okay.
and again, we can have. I think depending on who you're playing with, it's always good to have a different character so you can play as them. Because
Right.
every character is different. So, um, like I say, bucket the next time if you and I are on our own, like and no one else is with us, you grab the necromancer and I'll play paladin, and we'll fucking go to town.
Necro and Pal. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's
Sitcom, I'm telling you.
gonna be good.
What happens when a workaholic paladin pairs with a freestyle necromancer? It's like
Oh,
Dharma and
dude.
Greg, dude. I swear to God.
Oh my god. Hold on. We can actually make a YouTube sitcom of a necromancer and a fucking paladin.
Yeah,
We can we can record it and edit it and fucking tell stories.
I'm down. Dude.
Oh
You
god.
think I'm joking?
No,
I'll commit.
no.
Necro and Pal. Necro and Pal.
Okay. I'm writing right
Fucking
here.
set that shit up. Yeah, good,
Necro and
good.
Pal. I get it. Necro and Pal, like you're my pal and also Paladin.
Yeah.
That's fucking good.
See,
This is where it
see.
starts.
I know.
Shit, dude.
Award-winning fucking podcast right there. What's the other companion thing? Oh, hitting the mark. I never even fucking heard of it. This Pal and Necro and Pal, dude. Come on, get this shit right. Yeah, that's a winner right there.
That's fucking ridiculous. But it would be fun. I'm down to make some episodes. Be fun.
Good. Yes, we're gonna.
um, but yeah. For me, I it it hits me right in the nostalgia, um, in every way possible. And again, as you stated in the beginning, the graphics is fucking amazing. To be able to see this
Mhm.
game, like the cinematics when it came out originally, and you remember,
We're amazing.
were
Yeah.
amazing, right? I mean, compared to what it is now, yeah, it looks like dog shit, but back in the day,
No, 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 no,
holy
no, no.
fuck.
It's still, in my opinion, I think for what it is, holds up.
Mm,
Cause like even with because you could do like the Halo thing and fucking press a button and you can go straight back to the old visual stuff, which
mm-hmm.
is fun. I haven't seen the old cinematics in a long time, but I am actually
Yeah.
looking forward to giving them a look see
Mhm.
because I think I might. Yeah, I think tomorrow I'm gonna just fucking throw a couple of those on YouTube and just fucking look see daisy while I'm not doing anything.
For Halo or Diablo?
Diablo, you fucker!
Oh, they're in the game.
No, no, I know, but don't
Okay.
you have to set it to something to keep
No,
enjoying
no,
it?
no. You can watch them. Hold on, hold on. I'm doing this mid. We're doing it live.
Oh God.
Log on to Battle.net. Let me make sure. I believe Aved when he says, um, oh god,
You got this.
let me just podcast doesn't need to hear the game. um, for me, this game gave me everything I wanted. It was worth the money. Um, oh yeah, there's an option. Right in the main screen, dude, on the left side, that says options, cinematics, credits, and Exit Diablo 2. Cinematics, and it shows it all. And there's a checkbox in the very bottom that says view legacy cinematics. So it'll show the
Okay.
older ones. Boom.
Mic drop.
Boom. You need to fucking go to YouTube and fucking search up shit. It's right there in the game, man.
Too bad. I'm already on YouTube.
Oh fuck.
Already on it. God, that dude with the teeth hairline is so ugly. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's so amazing, like
Huh?
seeing this. I'm sorry, I don't mean to like
No, no,
interject,
go
but
for it.
like it's fucking so impressive seeing this back then as a kid and being like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, this looked fucking amazing. I don't think anything's gonna top how fucking realistic this shit looks. And then you go back and you're like, wow, something did top it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
It
think I told
still
you.
looks, God, so good for what it is though.
Yeah, like I think I told you. When I first played Devil May Cry on the PlayStation 2, I thought that was like top of the line fucking graphics. I was like, my god, this looks so real. Oh no way! Like nothing's gonna ever be like more realistic than this. Of course, I was wrong.
Get fucking teabagged.
Yeah,
Get visually teabagged.
but yeah, this is a great game. I'm glad we picked it up. I'm glad Blizzard finally fucking made it. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I'm glad everything worked out. The only thing that didn't work out in game was, well, it's not technically in game. It's just with their servers. Like so many people were trying to playing it day 1 and day 2 that their servers just couldn't keep up and were constantly
Right.
crashing. Um, but we're past that. We are past that, and I'm glad we can play as a group. It's fucking amazing.
So am I. I'm actually
Yeah.
I really do enjoy it. I'm I am willing to do post story like grind stuff if we're all just like doing it together.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I think,
Because yeah, this
I'm
is a
think
game that I do want to do solely with friends.
yeah, and honestly, you'll probably be very intrigued on playing other characters that we're probably going to be
Oh
playing this
yeah.
for a bit. You're going to be like, you know what sounds really fun, and then you just go make that character. Like I said, the paladin is not just an aura. Dude, they have the uh, Hammerdin. Basically, they like launch hammers that swirl around them. It's a really powerful build.
Ama.
Yep. What else?
So
I haven't played the druid and the assassin because those were DLC characters, so I never played them as much. The
mhm.
sorcerers can be super cheap. You can go either the way Taylor's going with lightning, or you can go with
His
how.
lightning, fucking watching him use lightning is like the most impressive thing I've ever seen. He just fucking annihilates anything in the room.
Yeah, I mean it's basically a shotgun. Like he's just, if anything's in front of him and he launches it, all those lightnings are hitting the first thing in front of him. So it's
Uh-huh.
just so if he's standing in front of a boss, he just shotgun blasts them like a few times and they're dead.
Insane.
So,
It is really fun watching him. It's fun watching all of the abilities, to be honest. Watching me wolf out, watching you with the skeletons,
mm-hmm.
watching Yvette do Yvette stuff, watching fucking Taylor electrocute people. Like seriously, so
That's good.
fucking good.
Yeah, and then what else? None of us have been doing the barbarian, but the barbarian's like it's very straightforward with the barbarian. He's just cleaving people to death. Um, but can be a lot of fun to do.
You don't need a barbarian when you have a fucking werewolf druid.
You're
Okay.
right.
Okay. So I fucking thought.
Um,
End of discussion.
and I know I created a character with a Ved. I'm playing as the Amazon, so
Uh-huh.
Amazonian. What? Yeah, yeah.
Amazonian.
So it's fun. I've actually only played with the Amazon a couple times. I used to always run the Necromancer, Barbarian, and Sorceress. Those were like my
Hmm.
go tos. Sorceress fucking ice
Ooh.
build was just broken. Still is. Necromancer. I don't know. I just always liked making a bunch of minions and just having them run around.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm enjoying that with like stuff like my fucking familiars. That shit is so
mhm,
fun.
yeah. So
Especially the field or the AoE like vitality boost.
yeah, it's definitely been helping us as a whole team.
An a-hole team.
A whole team.
I'm sorry. I'm actually going to have to read up on the Diablo lore now.
Oh, I actually own. I might have turned them in. Never mind. I bought like books of Diablo.
Oh my god.
I didn't. I don't think I ever read them. Livy, did we turn those
Why,
back
you
in?
fucking
Do you
nerd?
recall the Diablo books? Did I ever turn them back in? I probably did, huh? Yeah, fuck. That's fine. But they do have books. They're most likely at half price. For cheap. I bought them for like $2-3 or something like that. They might tell the story of the original Diablo. From what I remember, lore wise, the Wanderer, the one that you see that turns into Diablo, I believe he's the protagonist of the first Diablo.
Ooh, okay.
And
I'm
what
gonna have
he
to give that
does
shit
is
a watch.
he puts the Soul Stone, I think the Diablo Soul Stone, I think he like to kill Diablo or something happens where he like puts it inside himself or like he puts it inside his forehead or something weird happens and then that's when he slowly starts becoming Diablo.
Mhm.
Um and then at some point we can totally play Diablo 3.
Nice. I'm
Um
down for the reckoning.
that one is that's really up to you. It's a different feel. It's way more user friendly than Diablo 2 is.
Okay, good.
Um it does really hold your hand. The one thing I didn't like about Diablo 3 compared to Diablo 2 was the skills. You notice how in this one there's the skill tree where the other one is different. You unlock your skills by level. So once you reach level, so you max out at 70. Once you leave level 70, you unlock all the skills. Um,
Okay.
but there's no like you don't upgrade them by putting more points to the skill like this one does. You make them better by the gear you have. Depending on what gear, it'll like amplify certain skills. And that's how Diablo 3 works. Which is fun. It's cool. It's different. It's still the same style, right? Where you clicking, top down dungeon crawler.
Right.
Um, but 2 just seems like it had it perfect. I
Okay.
love the skill tree, and I think Diablo 4 um is going that route too, if I remember correctly. I believe they're bringing back the skill tree, and they're getting rid of how it was in Diablo 3. Um, I, that's all. They haven't really announced a lot of for Diablo 4, so from that's all that's kind of out. They have there's like this quarterly thing they do, and they announce little things here and there, but nothing crazy.
Hmm.
I'm just waiting for a release date. If you want to watch a really bomb ass cinematic, watch the Diablo 4 trailer. That shit was fucking oof. I know you haven't gone through any of the seen any of Diablo 3, but it won't really spoil anything. You're just gonna watch a really
I get
beautiful
you.
cinematic for Diablo 4, and it got me pumped for it, man. I was like, oh, that looks good. That looks like I'm gonna be spending $60 on a game.
Oh, look, it's Morrigan.
Morrigan?
It was a joke. The horn chick looks like Morrigan from StarCraft. God, Harry,
Oh,
keep the fuck up. God damn it.
is her name Morgan?
Morrigan. Morrigan.
Morrigan. Yeah, I am.
Or Kerrigan. I'm gonna
There we
fucking name
go.
Kerrigan. Oh man, I was so condescending. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was like Morgan because
Morrigan.
there's a
Let me spell it out for you.
there's a character in League of Legends called Morgana, but I was like, wait, but their name's Morgana. So, but that makes way more sense. Kerrigan, yes. But yeah, dude. Think that's a good time to stop, man. Fucking
Yeah?
chat it up
Okay.
for dude. We're at the 2 hour and 40 minute mark.
God, I couldn't get you to shut the fuck up. My
You know,
God.
it's
I'm
as
just
if
kidding.
we didn't post
Enjoy
anything
each other.
for 3 weeks, 2 weeks because we didn't do anything, and 1 week because I fucked up.
I don't remember that at all. You fucked up? What?
What?
Should I reprimand you for that?
Oh, hey, was I supposed to press the start recording button?
Fuck you.
Ha 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 ha.
Don't you do that to me. Don't you
Mhm.
dare. God. You you hardworking human being, you.
Am I?
I don't know. Folks, it's your daily contributions that keep us going. Seriously. We just love you guys and we would love if you checked up on our YouTube hitting the mark with Harry and Mark, our email hitting the mark 2020 at gmail.com,
Mm-hmm.
and our twatter capital H, capital T, capital M underscore podcast one more time, hitting the mark, capital first letters underscore podcast. Folks, I was about to say we appreciate you, but we don't know you. But we'd like to. We'd like to.
Talk to us.
Anyway, folks, you have a wonderful evening or whatever time you're going to be listening to this. We hope that you listen even more after this.
Hmm?
You folks take it easy, all right?
All right. Bye bye.
Auf Wiedersehen, assholes.